original man of America. You go to Washington, D.C., you can see my picture in the Smithsonian.
I'm talking about free will, man. We all got free will, y'all, to do what we deem is required. Yeah, if you believe in freedom, then you gotta believe in free will. That means people got the right to do what they want to do, really, whether right or wrong, with an exception or two, you know what I'm saying? Disclaimer, I do not give out legal advice. If you're looking for legal advice, you need to go get your attorney. I don't do that on my page at all. Boom, in common law, if you don't have no victim, if you don't cause any harm, and you honor your contracts, you're good. Hey, I like the word that if you ain't out here focusing on doing nothing wrong, bad shit, then you can focus on your rights. Like when you're not doing it wrong, you can focus on your rights. And I don't be out here doing it wrong, so I'm not tripping on none of that other stuff. You feel me? I'm just focusing on my rights. You see what I'm saying? With that being said, unfortunately, people do have the right to be ignorant. We can't push truth on people, man. You know, it's true that everybody can't go. So I'm just conversating and stuff, but I'm gonna ask y'all something. Free will. So people who believe in freedom, in my opinion, that's people who believe that they can govern themselves. People who believe that God gave you everything that you need for you to function correctly out here in the world without no extra third parties ruling over you. Then I guess on the other side, you got a group of people who believe like, so what would we do if everybody could just do what they want to do? Well, those people feel like they need a third party to come and regulate things, to protect them, provide for them, even if it's safety, to provide that for them instead of them providing it for themselves. So that's kind of that's not you going into yourself right there. That's you going outside of yourself. You see what I'm saying? Even if you believe the world should have a third party governing over the land to make sure things go smooth, even if that's what you believe, for you to push that upon another individual and tell them that they have to subscribe to that idea is anti-freedom. And that's anti-free will. But y'all claim y'all all about freedom and stuff, but that's not freedom. Why y'all don't let nobody live is basically what I'm saying. Y'all don't let nobody live. You want everybody to look at it how you look at it. Oh, that's not freedom, dog. That's not freedom, man. So in free will, you have the right to look at it that way, but you don't have the right to push that on me, because then you are going against my free will, and that's not fair, right? Yeah, again, I'm not even religious, but that's ungodly, man. Quit trying to rule over God's people. Y'all are men and women, man. But
he believes that he becomes us. And I know it's strange because I conquered them, but I'm going to devour what I've conquered.
I mean, a lot of the mummies that was taken out of Africa was taken to Europe and sold, and they used it as medicine, and they used it as aphrodisiacs. They ate our dead people's bodies. And cannibalizing us is nothing new. That whole concept of cannibalism comes from Europe. You don't find any instance of cannibalism in Africa or Asia.
The culinary industry, eating children, has always been famous with them. That's why people eat eggs. Egg is the fetus of a chicken, unborn chicken. You eat it.
Leopold was so brutal, it honestly mind boggles me that we don't learn about him in school at all. Not only did he steal Africans and use them as soldiers and put them through Catholic missionaries so then they would be brainwashed to be brutal soldiers, he would force them to torture the natives if quotas wasn't met. One torture was a whip made of hippo skin. The hippo skin made it dry and it had sharp ends, so then when they would whip them, their cuts would be so deep. 25 whips was a regular and 50 was a death sentence. Another way of torture if quotas weren't met was to be shoot them with one bullet and cut off their hands to show proof that they did this. This happened so much that cutting hands became currency. Cutting off hands from women to children, all people, cutting millions of hands off. In 1897, murderer Leopold brought 266 natives to Belgium to open up a human zoo, having 40,000 people come a day to just look at these certain Africans, showing how they would work. At the end of this Holocaust, it was estimated to 10 to 50 million deaths. Of course it varied because they were not keeping track. They obviously did not give a fuck to keep a track. So who knows, it could be even more. Now tell me how the fuck this wasn't taken serious as any other race if they went through this. Tell me what other group of people went through thousands of years of slavery and a Holocaust and still has that country in poverty. Now tell me what other country was up for grabs with no discussion of the people that were living there. Who else went through this shit? And you gonna tell me it's not this important to be taught this in school? We read books, we go in depths about all these other races and all the shit that they've been through. But when it comes to us, they try to kick that shit right under the rug. But you know why? Because every other nation is responsible for this Holocaust. Every other nation was there at that conference trying to grab for Africa. And accountability would means they would have to tell the truth. The truth how everybody in the world was against us. Nobody helped us in this.
Are American Indians. Not
to do is figure out how to grow a part of that human.
Advanced Foundry, biologists, software engineers, and a fleet of automated robots are working side by side to crank up the speed of nature. They're taking synthetic DNA, remixing it, and programming microorganisms, turning these living samples into mini factories that could one day pump out new foods, fuels, and medicines. Every piece of DNA here is barcoded and kept in what's considered the world's largest genetically engineered strain bank. This biological
is on to something big. Pig-size big. Medical researchers love pigs. They can't regrow limbs, but they're invaluable in other ways.
There are certain things from a pig that you can put into a hurt human and not worry about it. We've been transplanting pig heart valves into people for a long time.
In Dr. Badylak's body shop, they're using a pig's bladder, an organ that can regenerate. It may not look pretty, but it contains something that can regrow parts of your body. They scrape away extra layers of tissue until they're left with this.
This is the matrix. This is the matrix. The cells build this and they live within it. This is the extracellular matrix.
The extracellular matrix is like a scaffold that cells set up house in. All animals have it, including humans.
The extracellular matrix is the glue that holds cells together in every tissue and organ of your body, and it gives instructions to the cells, and the cells in turn give instruction to the matrix.
The pig's bladder is cheap and easily available, a waste product from the slaughterhouse, cleaned in special solutions and then dried. The matrix is shaped into strips or ground into powder. Put it where you're injured, and it somehow, almost magically, redirects what happens next.
And so instead of the body thinking, all right, injury, let's form a scar, the body says, all right, injury, let's rebuild. And the matrix helps to jumpstart it in the let's rebuild pathway.
And that's what seems to have happened to Lee Spivak, one of the first to use this invention back in 2005. A gift from his big brother Alan, who has since passed away.
They sent me the material, just a little tube with powder inside of it.
Lee wasn't sure what the mysterious powder was, but he trusted his brother.
I always believed Alan. And what did I have to lose, really?
And in 4 weeks, he gained what he thought was lost forever. Sprinkled with the pig's matrix, his entire fingertip miraculously regrew.
The nail had no defects. It was contoured exactly right. It was like nothing in
This project using two very closely related species, rat and mice. So we use the stem cell derived from the rat and we inject them into the mouse embryos.
We could see that rat cells, stem cells from the rat, could be introduced into a mouse. And there they are educated to become organs that are composed mainly of rat cells. This is the first proof of principle that we could recreate that environment that allows cells to grow into another animal, inside another animal. And with those first results is when we attempted to replicate them, but in this case using human cells into a larger animal, the cow or the pig. What we're doing is
putting these human stem cells in a natural environment inside a living animal. In this natural environment, they can grow, they can differentiate. In simple words, they can be educated to become a heart, a liver, or a pancreas cell type.
Researchers have been able to produce pig monkey hybrids in a Chinese laboratory, a media report said. 2 piglets having monkey tissues in their hearts, liver and skin were born in the State Key Laboratory of Stem Cell and Reproductive Biology in Beijing.
Miraculous. Inside every human, there's a dormant gene which ties us to our animal ancestors. It's as if that purple ooze has returned them to their rightful place in the animal kingdom.
You're a rhinoceros! And you're a... I don't know what you are. All right, let me look. I'm a little piggy.
So do you see it now, family? This is not something that they just came up with. This genetic modification that they're doing is something that the Anunnaki did to them thousands of years ago or whatever, the fallen angels. This was the whole thing that Jah was talking about in the Bible in the days before Noah with the genetic modifications, when they made the centaurs and all these mermaids and all these weird fucking creatures. This is exactly what it was, and they're doing it again. It's a cycle repeating itself, family. So now you get it, you know what I mean? I'm just giving you a couple of these receipts. Connect the dots, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. This is the demons trying to make avatars for them.
Both the Atlantean, not African, not Egyptian, Atlantean moved to Egypt, parentheses, Chem. So it showed you he moved there. From here, Tameri, with a group of other divine Atlanteans. So it shows you that they started here and they started building everywhere else. As you can see here on this map, you see how they lined up. They did a 3, 6, and 9. For anybody that knows anything about the teachings, you know that technique is a manifestation technique. Moving right along. It says right here that Thoth explains a higher technique for meditation. The temple and its particular variation, the pyramid, speaking about the temple on top of the pyramid, which we know Kemet does not have temples on top of its pyramids. Tameri is the only ones that do. I'll get out the way so you can screenshot this document. It says right here, preserve and keep the command of the primordial one. And as you can see here, it says existing at the beginning. Here's a couple more, I gotta go fast. And here, and here. I recommend this read for your life. Peace to the gods and the goddesses. Do your Native Americans have melanin? No. And as you can see here, this is where I showed in one of my other videos Atlantis was. Exactly where the Aztecs and the Maya was. I'ma keep going. This is Horus. He's depicted as a falcon. Why would he be depicted as a falcon? And what falcon is he depicted as? But it don't really matter, because all falcons are native to here. But just for your education, here's the falcon, buddy. It's native to here. Tameri, what your people call America. As a matter of fact, we have all the gods on Tameri. They don't have all the gods in Africa. They got like 2 of them. And as you can see here, the woman is the only one that's not depicted as something else. She's depicted in her true form. And as you can see there, Osiris is green, symbolizing what our melanin skin does. It's exactly like trees. We create O2. You create wars and genocide. We not the same. Next time you want to come up here talking like you know, go check my channel first, boss. Peace to the gods and the gods.